Hey y'all. Oh my gosh, I forgot how to get into the live. So I am a minute or so late and I apologize. I forgot how to get into a scheduled live. And I'm sitting here like, I saw y'all in here. Thank you so much. Today has been a day. I'm going to do, thank you for those of you who are here already. I'm seeing thumbs up already, even though I'm late. Oh, you want to get in your PJs? I feel like it. Tanya, this is my outdoor shirt. I went out today. Hey, Denise, how you doing? Actually went out earlier. I had a bunch of stuff to do, but and then I did this look and now we are here and I'm sorry I'm shifting you. So I'm going to do the intro. Hey, Lot, good morning. I've had a day and I've had lunch already, Lot. Hey, Alicia. I'm going to do the intro for those who catch the replay, and I know I'm tilted, and I apologize for that. But y'all know, oh, y'all can see in my kitchen. Let me close my curtain. So I'm going to do the intro for people who catch the replay and for anyone that's new. Paulette, hey, hi, how are you? It's good to see you. So for the intro, my name is Dion. I call this the crazy troll nation of YouTube. A perfect example is I forgot how to get into a scheduled live, and so I was like a minute late. Thank you, Lot. The crazy is just enjoying yourself, knowing it's okay to be your authentic self. Janessa, how are you? And the troll part is not caring too much. Oh, thank you, Paulette. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to feel like you need to use a certain brand or a certain tool or a certain technique because that's what we see and that's what's hyped up and that's what's popular. Use whatever you want to, however you want to, because you need to like how your makeup looks. Remind me, Locke, storyline for today. Also, I need to let the new people know who are watching the replay. I do curse sometimes in videos because I curse sometimes in real life. And also, my throat does not belong to my body. I think it's an alien in here. It gurgles, hiccups, and belches randomly. And I do always say, excuse me, even if it's a silent hiccup, and you'll see me just kind of, yeah, something in there that the alien is dancing. So sometimes it is audible and it's embarrassing. But I do always say, excuse me. So I want to let you know that. So So this live is if I can only keep 10 palettes. And if you've been here for more than a month, you will most likely not at all be surprised. And I'm looking at one of these thinking I want to swap it out with something, but I don't know what I want to swap it out with. So I'm going to leave it the way it is. Thank you, Tanya. The lashes, this is Max Stack. And this one says micro brush. And I don't remember if the other one said micro brush or not, but it seems to function the same. The look, I just did this as a get ready with me. It's like 50 minutes because I did the whole thing except for brows. Because I really wasn't feeling like doing this today. Like I've just been in a semi-funk off and on for like a month now. But it does always help me to just sit here and talk to y'all. So I'm like, you know what? Instead of just doing my face, being all like blase, blase, I'm like, I'm gonna do a get ready with me and chit chat my little tan ass off. And so that's what this look is. Y'all know I love a dark eye. Y'all know I love a dark lip. And it's crooked as hell down here. I know, I see it. Black lip every day for Black History Month. And I can honestly say, I don't miss other lip colors. And I do really believe, though, once I start using other lip colors, that I'm going to like those too. But using the black every day, this line is annoying me. I'm getting my mirror because I put it on the floor. This is so crooked, it's annoying me. Black lip every day for Black History Month. And I do not miss other lip colors at all. Like, I seriously don't. And it does really seem to go with whatever eye look I do. In the beginning of the month, this is NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in Alien, which is black. The beginning of the month, I don't miss Deep Forest, Tanya. On you, Deep Forest is bomb. On me, it almost looks black on me, like a black and green color and not a dark green. And so it kind of pisses me off. But when I see you wear it, I'm like, that's what I wanted to look like on me. But I have noticed as time goes on over the day, as it dries more, it does look more dark green. or more green. But when I first put it on, to me, it just looks more blackish. And so, no, I don't miss any other lip color at all. But I know, as I said, I really believe once I get back to it, I am going to really enjoy those other colors. And I did buy some. My live next Monday, y'all, is a haul. I have multiple boxes over here. It's a lot of stuff. And some stuff is for y'all, like for giveaways. The only black lip you have is with the multi shimmer. I do recommend the one from the Sephora collection, the same brand as the Dark Forest one you have, because when Sephora is 30% off, I think they're like less than $11, less than $12. I do like the MAC one better. That's the one I have one today. I like it just a little bit better, but they only have like the black. They don't have the other dark colors that Sephora has. So story time, excuse me. So I got up early than usual, like I needed to, because I knew I needed to do the live. So I'm like, okay, I need to be home. I need to have my, well, I don't need to have my face done, but I always like to at least have something on my face for the live. I worked over the weekend. I co-hosted an event down at the Playhouse. And so I wanted to deposit the money I made from that. And then we also are doing like a not a fundraiser, but we do a thing where, you can donate to Covering the Gap, which is the umbrella organization to Helping Hands and Eclectic Beauty. And so the proceeds from this thing that we did, we made a little bit of money for donations for Covering the Gap. And then another person, there was a bootblack there, she usually donates some of her proceeds to a different organization, but she said she wanted to donate it to Covering the Gap because that's what we were donating to from the event. And I don't know if y'all want to know what the name of the event is, but so we asked her if she was sure, because it's completely different than the other organization that she donates to, and she said yes. So I said, okay, well, I'll deposit that money. And Covering the Gap on their website, they have a PayPal link. So I said, I'll deposit it into my account and then PayPal it into Covering the Gap. So that way it goes directly there. And also one of my chosen family sisters had donated $50. And so I deposited that too, put that in, and I did the deposit separate so I wouldn't mix up who was who. And I wanted to send the receipts to the people who donated the money saying it's really been sent to Covering the Gap, and I'm just not sitting here, holding on to people's money. So I did that, and then I went to the post office. Locke, I told you about this. Nobody else knows except Locke. What I told you I did for one of my little sisters. I mailed her stuff off today. So I'm hoping she gets it before next Monday so I can show you mine. So I mailed that, and then I mailed something off to one of my other official trollkin. I'm not going to mention it because I don't know if they want to be named or not. But and then I was tossed between, do I want to go to Aldi's or Trader Joe's? Because I wanted to get salad, and I'm like, Trader Joe's has those corn puffs. So I ended up going to Trader Joe's. Then I came home and I had lunch, which was great because I didn't want to be sitting here like I'm all shaky and whatnot from my sugar being low. So I did that. I think I watched 4 videos on YouTube, and then I was like, hey Arlene. And then I'm like, let me just do it. Get ready with me. Did the face, and I only got the face done at like 10 of. Oh, them guilty pleasures. Oh, let me know, y'all, if y'all like Envy apples. Like how they have Honey Crisp, Red Delicious, Granny Smith. There's an apple called Envy. They are so good. I had my uncle try one once, and he's like, oh, these are sweeter than other apples. Tanya, they are so good. And they had them I want to go get one to show you. My thumb is so bent. They were like this big. I lie to you not. Them Envy apples were like this big, and they were 100. They were $1.29 a piece. So I got 6 of them. So then I'm like, okay, let me get peanut butter, because sometimes I'll eat peanut butter with apples, and sometimes I'll eat cheese with apples. And I did get some more Gouda cheese because I'm going to put that in the salads that I got from Trader Joe's. And I got only 3 bags of corn puffs. Only three. They are good, Arlene. They're expensive though. And my uncle told me, he's like, oh, I bought apples again. I said, you get the Envy? He's like, no, they cost too much. They are expensive. But for them to be $1.29, they were literally like this big. Sometimes they're really tiny. I was just like, what? I've never seen envy apples that big. So wherever they got them from, it looks like a baseball. Actually, it's almost the size of a softball. Like, I kid you not. Peanut butter and apples, Paula, I know, right? That is a healthy snack. No, it was $1.29 each, Tanya. Peanut butter with apples, and I had the nerve to get the crunchy peanut butter. And I got mustard because I have pretzels in my freezer, and I was running out of mustard. I got a box of them from BJ's because there was a coupon. So then I came home, had lunch, did the face, and now we're here. So that's the story of my day today. I can say I did sleep well this morning. Yeah, and those are the super pretzels too. I don't put the salt on them because I don't need extra sodium. But yeah, I've been eating one like every day. I'll put on a movie. And you know what? When I put it on the bake setting in my air fryer for 3 minutes, 350 degrees for 3 minutes, they are perfect. And I just take it out, put some mustard on a plate, and I'm just sitting there watching my movie. Dip it. Dip it. I love it. And so, all right, y'all, are we ready to get into If I Could Only Keep 10 Palettes? Are we ready? Y'all are not going to be surprised at all. If I'm nothing else, I'm predictable. Wait, come back, comment. I see. Oh, shoot. Where? You know what? Stuff has moved lately on YouTube. I don't know if you do videos, let me know if you notice that stuff moves. And even when I go to do a post, you used to be able to click live, post, short, whatever. Now it's at the bottom and you have to like move the thing over to get to what you want. Like, stuff has changed. Paulette is ready. You know one, Tanya, what do you think it is? If anyone like hot, this is lot. If anyone likes hot stuff, add cayenne pepper to the peanut butter and mix it. Do I want to do that tonight? I don't want my butt to be hot. The joys of living alone. I could just blast away. Hey, Melina. We are just about to get started. Somebody wanted story time, so I talked about the day. So it's like, wow. I know I'm disgusting. I'm a disgusting troll. So, Tanya, what do you think it is? If any of you can guess, have a guess at what one of the 10 palettes are that I would keep, let me know. Because I'm predictable. And when I would use a palette, y'all can tell when I'm like, oh, she cute. Or I'd be like, oh, this is bomb. Add little at a time till you get the hot level you like. I'm a little scared. Is one that, name it, Tanya, which one? There's a few I have that they don't make anymore. Oh man. I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna start. All right, Janessa says Notoriously Morbid Swamp Witch. Notoriously Morbid, like says Mothman and 669. Tanya says 669. Melina says 669. Y'all know me so friggin' well. Y'all, those were the first ones. I'm taking them out right now. Well, I have it stacked up, so we're gonna do that now because y'all know me. Y'all know me. It's telling me there's another comment. Beans and booty crack. Janessa, she messed me up with that. Because I say beans and booty, and somebody had commented they're still trying to get the booty crack palette because of me. And I'm just like, Zena Melina said, y'all know me so well. We can end this right here because y'all know I'm already. And so when they said that, Janessa, that messed me up. She's like, the booty crack palette. And I said it in a couple videos. I'm like, no, you're not going to take beans and booty from me. I'm not calling it booty crack. I might call it beans and booty crack. But yeah, definitely. And the thing is this is not limited edition. Beans, booty. I love this palette. And I know I always say it. I feel like a broken record. I still have not used this matte and this matte on the lid and topped it with something else. But this and this on its own, I cannot stand it. It just does not flatter my complexion. It just doesn't look right on me. But everything else in here is dual chrome and or multi-chrome. And including this one looks very unassuming. But when I put it on, I'm like, wait, what is that? Yeah, so this is definitely one of the 10 I would keep, and I'm not going to talk long about it because all of y'all knew. Y'all knew already it was the Mothman Beans and Booty Crack palette. It was expensive. I think it was like $70. Notoriously Morbid takes about 3 weeks to ship, which isn't, excuse me, it's a lot to me because you need to tush that tone. I cannot read. Wait a minute, I need to. I need my tush that toned Mothman. He is toned. He buffed back here. Like mine don't think. Mine just. Dudes like it though. They be like, not me. I be like, you ain't my papa, you ain't my dad. But anyway, this though, it just excites me. It was like $70. Then you got to pay for shipping. It takes like a month. So I very seldom order. Oh, I suffered with. It just takes so long. I never ordered just one palette from Mothman, from Notoriously Morbid. So I'm like, if I'm gonna wait a month, I'm gonna order like 2 or 3. I do want the new one. But I'm like, how often do I do red looks? Like, seriously, right? Like, how often do I do red looks? But why I want it, and I'm going to wait, because I'm not just going to buy just one palette. And I was thinking, why do I really want this? Number one, it looks beautiful. And Janessa, you were right. Bog Witch, Swamp Witch. The first look I did with this, I was like, the second look, and it's only 9 shadows. And it's a green palette. I typically don't like monochromatic palettes. It is beautiful, Denise. It is. But because this row, these are all, the new one, it is beautiful. And I want it. And I'm going to wait, though. I'm going to wait. And what's making me want it is, even though it's a red monochromatic-ish palette, the same as this is green monochromatic-ish, because of how these 3 shades, they are bright and bold. And it is on my list to do looks with this on the lid by itself, this on the lid by itself, this on the lid by itself. Either maybe do one eye with it on its own and the other eye with a base under it, just to see if it changes or enhances it. But this palette, for this to be 9 shades, and for how they show up, and I love the formula, that's what's really edging me on to want the red one even more, because I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the colors. And if it's the same formula as this, and if it shows up like this, if that dark bottom row is as rich as this, if that middle row, if they shine bright like this, and even this one, you can see this one over here shining, and even this pink one. So I'm like, if it's anything like this, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I was tossed between, not really, I was, but in a way not, because y'all know also I don't like dupes in my collection. And so I did not put a lot of thought into the 10 I would keep. What I thought was, what do I miss? And what am I always super excited to use? 669 Mothman's Bog Witch. And the other ones were just like, okay, I'll pick this one over that one type of thing. But definitely N Xenon, of course, is in here. So we're going to talk about that next. But I was tossed between Bog Witch and the Natasha Denona Yucca palette, pronunciation depends on where you're from, because they're both kind of green scale, but Bog Witch, any look I do is going to give me swamp water. It's going to give me that murky swamp water, whereas the Natasha Denona, it'll give me variations of swamp water, but this will give me that deep, dark, murky, you know what I mean? And so, hey, Sylvia. And so that's why I chose Bog Witch over the Natasha one, and I didn't want to pick 2 greenish palettes, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, if I had to choose, so it was like, okay, if I can only choose 10, and then when I looked at these 2, what if I can only choose 1 greenish palette? Bog Witch. So that's how we ended up with Bog Witch. But it just gives me that oomph that the Yucca palette doesn't give me, even though I love it as well, and I will keep it as long as possible. And it may be a repurchase down the line, not sure, but definitely this palette excites me. It's not often that the first look I do with a palette I like, because usually the first look, I'm like, let me just get some colors on. And the second look, let me just use the colors I didn't use the first time, because it is important for me to use every shadow in a palette. So usually the first 2 looks are, let me just get it done. And then by the third look, I'm doing what I want to do. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And then the 4th look, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is bomb. The first look with this, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, are you kidding me? And the second look was like, whoa. And it's not many palettes that do that for me. That's what Mothman did for me. And Mothman excites me because most of them being dual, all of them being dual chromes or multi-chromes, except for the two mattes. I have no idea what the look is going to look like until I get it on. I don't swatch out shades first to see what I'm going to put where. I just put them on. And so it excites me to do that. We did say we were going to talk about Xenon next. Xenon is grayscale. You may remember that I did switch it up. This, and this are not original to this palette. Those four, I believe, are from, I want to say Retro Glam. Don't quote me on that. But even without those shades, the first 5 looks I did with this palette, some were like, ooh, and some were like, yeah, because I was just experimenting. And that's what this palette does for me, is it motivates me to experiment, to do new techniques, to try new things, to come out of my comfort zone. And that's what I love about Xenon, is that it motivates me to do something different. And so this was a no-brainer. 669, Bog Witch, Mothman, Xenon. Everything else was like, Even though I do still get excited to use them, but these first 4, it was like, yeah, no doubt about it. Actually, the first 5. So we'll keep Xenon too, because it just motivates me and encourages me to come out of my comfort zone. Because it's really easy to just do the same types of looks that we always do, because we know it's going to look nice, and put the same mid-tone shade in the transition, deeper shade in the crease, put a darker shade for outer corner, do a shimmer on the lid, do a shimmer brow bone, right? And we do that every time. This motivates me to do something different than inward to outward like the dark, or outward to inward dark to light. This motivates me to want to try new things. And it's scary and exciting at the same time, because as I said, those first 5 looks, some were really nice and some were like, that was a good try, Dion. You tried it. Hashtag troll tried it. Thumbs up because I tried something new. And so the next one, so yeah, these would be the top 4. Y'all guessed it. Like 5 of y'all guessed it. 669 Martine Cosmetics. It makes me sad that they're not going to bring this back. But what I've been doing lately is when I do looks, sometimes I'll be like, you know what? This could be a dupe for 669. Look at the look I'm wearing now. This green, look at that. I do have a purple over here, but then I put black over it. I could have used that purple. We did a matte black for outer V. That could be this. And we did a skin tone shade up here, which you can't see because the same color as my skin. And we put a green under here. And so what I realized subconsciously that I was doing, like after I do a look, I'm like, that could be a dupe for 669. And so it's helping me not be as sad that when this dies, I won't ever have it again, because I am able to kind of get the vibes, not the same exact look, but I am able to do this. And I know I say quite often, this shade is beautiful. Look at this shade right here, y'all. Look at that. Oh my gosh. And look at this one. Oh my gosh. That is so pretty. And this goes pinky orange to green. But for the most part, other than those 3 I just pointed out, a matte black, like a deep smoke gray, a black with shimmer, purple, metallic, gray, this dual chrome right here, that's unique. This is unique. You got a mid-tone, whatever that is, blue, gray, brown, red, and greens, and a brown. So it's not really like the most unique color story ever, but to have it all in one palette, and because I love this so much, is that this will give me swamp water if I want. This will give me vampy if I want. This will give me pretty grunge if I want, which I usually don't. I usually want messy grunge. I can get that from this too. So this gives me all of the different vibes that I want all in one palette. It's not earth-shattering, but it's all in one. Yes, it is. And I can get every one of my vibes out of here, Tanya. Like for Swamp Witch. Thank you, Janessa. Bog Witch. I know I'm going to get swamp water out of here. I know I'm going to get swamp water out of here, period. But this, I can get swamp water. I can get messy grunge. I can get vampy. And so it's just the idea of it. And that's what I had to realize. Like, why am I so sad? Like, when this dies, I won't have it. It's just because it's an all in one. And you hit the nail on the head, Tanya. It's just because everything is in here. And so I wouldn't feel like, okay, I need a bog witch. I need, that red palette to do vampy. I need something else to do murky. I can't get my brain to remember bog witch. I go right this because this is a swampy ass palette. Like, look at the cover on here. Yeah, I mean, and somebody commented, "Ooh, you like a perfect swamp witch" when I did that look. And I said, thank you. That's what I was going for. And so, but that's really what it is. And so it has helped me to think of it as it is just an all-in-one. Even though my collection isn't the largest, it's also not the tiniest, but I can get similar vibes using other stuff. It's just having this whole thing in here and knowing that it's going to work. The only one in here that's flaky is Cornelia, this shade up here. But everything else in here, I love it. I love it because it's all just right here, and the packaging is like really nice too. So that's our top 4. Is Mothman was the first one I pulled. That was the first one. I don't know if that was the first one or if 669 was the first one. I think Mothman, because of how my palettes are set up, Mothman is over here. And then like in the middle was 669. So that was the second one I pulled. And then I pulled Bog Witch, which is in the front because it's smaller. And then I'm like, what else? And I'm like, ooh. And then it was Xenon. So that's the order I pulled. Mothman, 669, Bog Witch, and Xenon. Those were the top 4. That was just like, no doubt. And then I thought, what else would I not want to be without? Or what else would enhance those palettes or to do any kind of look? Y'all might be surprised. Natasha Denona Bieber palette. Now we done went from Bog Witch, Xenon, 669, Mothman to this neutral palette. Because if you this for me is like the perfect neutral palette. I don't use it enough because I don't do a lot of neutral looks. But I do love it. And when I use it, I'm reminded of how much I love it. And so aside from the top 4, I was like, it is pretty, Tanya. Oh my gosh. I was like, what would enhance that? Or what would add to that? Because it goes back to me not wanting dupes in my collection. So I don't want to pick, 10 smoky palettes, you know what I mean? Or 10 grungy palettes. And I thought this would be different. And it would add to the 10 palettes that I could keep if I can only keep 10. And even though this looks unassuming, the colors are just really pretty. And these look like they would be the same, but when you put them on, they look different. And the same with these two. And yes, Denise, you need to. And Natasha does this all the time where it'll be similar colors, but the undertones are a little bit different. Hey, Grace, how you doing? And so she does that a lot in her palettes. And so even if something looks similar, because it's like these look the same. On me, they don't. These don't look the same on me. I mean, it's just, and there's not a lot of, this looks to be a metallic or a satin. So does this one and this one. And so it's only 3. This, and this. Everything else, and this one, I want to say this one, but I'm not sure. Midi Biba or Midi Trio Chrome. Those are pretty. I had the Mini Biba. Oh, you said the MIDI. The MIDI. Those would be nice. And she has been doing a lot of midis, and I think it's smart for the brand because people ain't balling like we was before COVID. But yeah, that would be nice. So everything else in here, besides this, and this one, are either creamy mattes or cream to powders. And I love that formula from her. And so it doesn't bother me that it's not a lot of metallics in here because, I like darker stuff anyway. But this to me is like the perfect neutral palette. And did I pair this with Mothman? I don't know. I don't want to lie to you. And so I usually just use it on its own. Once in a blue moon, I'll pair it with something just for like, one of these shades here or one of these or the black. This is a nice black. Oh. But anyway, so yeah, this is there. And then I thought, what else would I want? And then I'm like, oh, excuse me for those glares. Circle Loco palette. This palette is so much freaking fun. And yes, I did, um, you know, grab your nuts, whatever you need to do. I did sell, gotta have color, yeah. I did sell Forest Heart palette, and I was chatting this morning with someone. They were like, "You did what?" Because I said, "Yeah, it was nice." And they were like, "What do you mean was?" And I said, "Well, when I had it." They said, "What do you mean had?" Like they were just like, what? And so, because what happened, and I sent them pictures of, I did one eye with Forest Heart, another eye with the Yucca palette, very similar. Not exact, because one was more blue, one was more green, but it was the same exact vibe. And one look selling and one look with this one, and they were very similar. And it goes back to not wanting dupes. And because this is not limited edition, this is my second time having Circle Loco. I wanted someone else to enjoy Forest Heart before it died, because it did still have some life left into it. And I didn't want to just hold on to it just to hold on to it, especially knowing the looks that I was just like, wow. But I was able to do that with other stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I was okay with letting it go. But this excites me. What doesn't excite me is this shade barely shows up on me. This is a metallic of this one. This barely shows up on me. This and this make me look borderline dusty depending on what I put it next to and how I blend it or what I blend it with. But this palette is a lot of fun. And I love, this is rich. This is rich. That's these tones, y'all. And Gwen, this goes with everything over here. This palette is, excuse me for the glares. This is just a lot of fun. And I need to pull it out and use it again. What's surprising is that these two don't show up on me, but this one does. And maybe because it's a brighter color and it's also a metallic, but so is this one, but that doesn't show up on me. Keep sticking my fingers in it. But this the same as Xenon. It encourages me to do new things and to come out of my comfort zone, because you're going to get something bright and crazy out of it. Circle Loco means crazy circus. And so when people are like, oh, I don't know what to do, just do something and you may be surprised. And this palette has surprised me, the looks that I've done. There was one look I didn't like at all, and it was for a collab. And so then I did a different look at another clip in that same video, because I was just like, but what was surprising to me about that is for the collab, it was 3 of us and we each had a row. The row I had, I didn't like the look. So I did another look, the same 5 shades, and the look was completely different. And people were like, I wouldn't have thought that was the same 5 shades that you used the first time. So that showed me like how versatile this palette can be, even with the same 5 shades. And that was an interesting video. That was an interesting look, because the first one I was like, I don't like it. But the second one, I'm like, I like this a little more. But because I was trying new stuff and it excited me to do that. We have 4 more palettes. One of these I kind of want to put back, but I don't know what to trade it for. Do y'all have any guesses on the last 4? This might be my shortest live ever, y'all. But what was the last one? Like 90 minutes? I was like, oh my God. The one next week might be long, because I got a lot of stuff. I got like stacks on stacks on stacks of boxes. Excuse me. Any guesses on the last 4? Thinking back to, there has to be something. Why does it have to be something Pat McGrath? One of those sub palettes from Pat. The sub palettes? You mean the motherships? Paulette? No, wait, who said that? Tanya. Bronze, Janessa. My Bronze Seduction is in my Macari store. If it didn't sell, it's in my Macari store. And when I did my Radical Declutter video, that was one of the ones. And Divine Roses in there. Somebody did buy my Sunless Seduction. Even though 3 of the Celestial shades I had took out, they bought it the way it was. And I'm like, so thank you to one of my official troll fam kin that were like, put it in there anyway. Somebody's going to just want to try the formula, or they're using, put other shadows in there. Somebody bought it. So Divine Rose still look brand new. Bronze Seduction I only had for like 4 months. Utopian Dream I put in there. That still look brand new. Sunless Seduction, I took 3 of the Celestial shades out, and that's the one that sold first. I'm just like, what? Like, are you kidding me? It sold quick too. So we have Pat McGrath, Bronze Seduction, Midnight Sun, Subliminal. Y'all know me so friggin' well. Oh my gosh. I think I watched the declutter, but clearly I have switched. You know it, because I just be running through stuff, and half the time I babble. So it was probably like, is she even speaking English? Like, I don't even know what the troll over there is saying. But all right, so we do have Subliminal. And Melina says Subversive. So what I thought about is what I was saying earlier. What would add to, if I can only keep 10, I want a variety. I want a color story that's not going to do any of the other 9 palettes. I want formula that I know is going to work. I can just do a look. It's not a lot of fuss. It's not a lot of mess. It's going to look nice. It's going to give me one of the vibes I like, either smoky, grungy, swamp water, vampy, whatever. And so, yeah, Subliminal. Subliminal. Yep, the one with the blue one is Anya. This will always be, as far as I know, unless they come out with something similar. I really want Pat to go, and then it ain't even Pat at this point. It's the investors. I want the brand, and that's why I say Pat McGrath Labs, or when I write it, I put PML for Pat McGrath Labs. I don't say Pat, I don't say Patricia, I don't say, Mama Pat, Mother Pat, because she's not in control of the company. You cannot convince me she is, just because of how the color stories have been going all this time, well, for the last few years. Let me see. Okay, I'm back on the road to Corpus Christi. Okay, drive safely. I hope I'm not too distracting to you. Okay, be safe. And so why as of this point and for the foreseeable future, Subliminal will be my number one Pat McGrath Mothership palette, because as I was saying earlier, with other palettes I have, the first look I'm like, all right, because I'm just trying to get the colors on, right? I'm just trying to do something that I think will look nice, and sometimes it doesn't. But yay me, because I'm trying stuff, right? And the second look will be like, and by the third or fourth look, I'm like, okay, yeah, this rocks. For the majority of the motherships, oh, it keeps you awake? Okay, good. And for most of the motherships, it was like the third look, maybe the fourth look. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is bomb. Subliminal, let me tell you something. I looked at this, I said, we're going to be really simple. And it took me a long time to get this, because it looks like it's cool tone. I don't prefer me in all cool tone looks. But the more I kept looking at it, I'm like, but it's smoky. So I had to rethink, is it that I don't like cool tones, or do I just want the smoky cool tones? You know what I'm saying? And these pull neutral on me. And I think it was Tintalia's website, Tintalia.com. If you're not familiar with her website, she breaks down palettes and colors and gives you dupes and does swatches and looks and all of that. Tintalia.com is an amazing website. She was saying, even with Pat McGrath's cool tone shades, she said on the skin, they look almost neutral. And I'm like, you know what? She's right. Unless it's just me. I don't know. Because y'all know my color perception is different. But this, I said, I'm going to just be simple. The first look I did, I used the whole top row. I used all 5 of these. That look was bomb. I was like, wait, what? I'm like, this never happens to me with a mothership palette, or with any palette for that matter. That look was bomb. The second look, we're going to still keep it simple. Use the shades we didn't use the first time. We used all 5 of these shades. That look was bomb. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? That's why this will be, for the foreseeable future, continue to be my number one mothership palette, because both looks out the gate, they was just like, whoa. And they were smoky. They were easy to work with. These celestial shades were easy to work with. All of these non-celestial shades went on fine. I was just like, what the hell? That blue is so gorgeous. I want to curl up and take a nap and then snuggle with it. It is a pretty blue. And I make a point when I use this palette, don't always just go for the blue. Because when I see looks, Pat's motherships, as y'all know, there's always one accent shade. One has the green, one has the blue, one has that fiery orange, one has whatever else. And so when palettes come out, and you might see 10 videos, 9 of them is that accent shade. So I make a point when I use the motherships not to just always use that accent shade, because the palette is more than that one shade. Yes, it stands out. Yes, it's pretty. Yes, it's beautiful when I snuggle with it. But I'm like, there's so much more to this though. And because I like smoky too, I honestly, even if you just gave me these 6, I would still love this palette because it's smoky. And y'all know I do like brights. I do like shimmers. I do like high shine, but I'll take smoky and murky any day over shimmer, high shine. Like seriously, because that's just where I live. But it is really beautiful. But out the gate, the 2 looks real simple. 1 row, 2 row. I was like, what? That has never happened to me with a mothership palette. Never. Some palettes it took to like the 5th look. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll keep it. This one, And then the next one, I'm going to switch gears because nobody said this. Nobody said this one. It kind of surprised me, but it kind of didn't. When I was looking at what I have and thinking, what's not going to dupe? What do I know I really like? And like right out the gate, I was like, wow. Nomad Iceland Fire and Ice palette. What got me? Let me know if y'all surprised at this one, because this is so far off than the other ones. This is what it looks like. It's just like, what is this? What had happened was, y'all know it's the story when somebody say what had happened was. Instead of what happened was, no, what had happened was. This was back maybe a couple years ago. This came in Ipsy. This murky little green right here. It was in a little compact from Ipsy. I was like, where that at? And I'm like, oh, that's a Nomad shade? I'm like, what palette is that in? Oh, it's an Iceland Fire and Ice palette. So I'm online looking at it and had seen the palette. I didn't pay it any attention because look at these 2 right here. You think I mentioned it on my community page? It's on. This is on sale, y'all, $20 off. In between y'all right here, I purchased one for a giveaway, but y'all will see that in my live next week because I got other stuff for giveaways, stuff that was, and my non-affiliated code still works for 5% off, 10% off. So I think I paid like what, $24 for this. And this is my second time having this. My other one is in my Macari store, and I think I'm gonna just take it out and just throw it away. But this is in my Macari store, my older one. Because for me, Nomad shadows do turn, and I think it's whatever oil or whatever they put in it. After, when it gets around 9 or 10 months, when I use it, it irritates my lids. Why does this look like it could be this green? So y'all see what I'm saying? When I do looks now, and I'm looking like, that look like that could be what? And even though this isn't a black, this is a deep, rich shade. That could be that. So anyway. So I was looking at these shades and I'm like, okay, a bold blue, a backup. What? No, I'm gonna give it away. I bought it specifically for a giveaway, Denise, and so I am gonna give that one away. But I did think to get another one, but I'm like, no, because I don't want to have, this one is fairly new. But I'm like, I don't want to just sit on a palette, for another 10 months until this one dies. You know what I mean? Because then but there are stuff I do have backups of. And I'm like, okay, let me keep going. Because I can get off track and I'll stay off track and end up in a whole other country. And so when I saw this online, I'm like, okay, it was these 2 columns. And I'm just like, they look dusty. Except for this one. So I'm like, you got 5 shades. And I'm like, but I kept looking at this green like, Nomad does have return policy too, so that helps. But I don't buy things with the intent of, if I don't like it, I'm gonna send it back. Now, if I have an issue and my eyelids are itching, or like some palettes on the website, it'll just be regular, and then you get it and it'll say pressed pigment palette. Well, why that wasn't on the website? So that's when I'm looking like I want to return and get my money back. But if I just don't like how the looks are, I don't return it. I only return if there's a problem. And me not liking how it looks is not a problem. Excuse me for poking you in the eye. I remember you getting a single note. Yeah, and it sent me down this rabbit hole right here. This is my second time having this palette because of that one shade. And so what I did was, so I ordered it, and I don't know if I ordered it when it was on sale, because at the end of the year, they have amazing sales. And if you ordered a certain amount, you would get 50% off your order. And so I got some stuff for me, and I got some stuff for a giveaway. And this was a couple years ago. And so I utilized that sale, because where are you going to get 50% off? And because I do like their formula, I can't really speak to the newer stuff because they started using pressed pigments in their palettes, which means I'm not going to buy it because I'm not going to be able to use all of it. Um, so I can't speak to the newer stuff. But so when I ordered it and I got the palette, I said, you know what? Since I don't think these 5 are going to do much for me, the first look I did, and I do have a playlist for every palette I'm showing you. So if you want to see the looks for Nomad Cosmetics, Iceland Fire and Ice, there's a playlist for that. If you want to see Natasha Denona Circle Loco, there's a playlist for that. Everything is named according to the brand and the palette if you want to see something particular. So the first look I did with this palette, I used these blues. That look was really pretty. And I'm like, what? And then I got excited because I thought, if the shadows I thought I weren't going to like, I love the look, what's the rest of this palette going to look like? Like, what are these 2 columns going to look like? What are these fiery shades going to look like? So when I did that look with these shades, and I'm like, this look was bomb, I got so excited. Like, what? As I said, this is my second time having this palette, and I bought one for a giveaway because I love it so much. I'm just like, it surprised me. So I'm glad that Ipsy sent me this one little, and this is Gallows Lava. I'm glad Ipsy sent me that because I would have never purchased this palette because I like to enjoy an entire palette. And I'm looking at this like, I'm not going to enjoy 5 of these shades. Oh, you mixed this up with Whistler? Excuse me for smacking. And I do still have Whistler, but that didn't make it into the 10. And I need to use that more too. I'm to the point now where I still think of getting rid of more stuff. And I'm like, I did a radical declutter already. Like, am I going crazy? Or do I just want to just keep downsizing my stash? You know what I mean? I think I have a name for it because I asked in a video, like, I don't want to call it my makeup collection because I'm not a makeup collector. And of course I want to troll in there somewhere. And someone commented, it might have been one of my official troll kin. They said troll treasure chest. But because they're so hard to say that 3 times. Troll, yeah, I can't. And so, but I'm like, troll treasure chest. I would just have to like really slow down and say it. And so I haven't figured out what I'm gonna call my stuff yet. I seriously need to downsize my palettes. My troll trove. What is a trove, Janessa? Don't have me saying no freaky shit. But I like that though. Troll trove. That's easier than troll treasure chest. Treasure trove? But I need to have the word troll in there somewhere. Troll treasure see, no. I have radically decluttered my palette stash. Now I feel I can buy again. And that's the thing, Paulette, is that I used to do that. I would declutter and it's like, oh, more room for new stuff. But then I'm like, but then I get more stuff and I'm like, I want to declutter because I don't like just stuff. I want to actually like use what I have and be excited. Like these palettes I'm showing you, I'm just like excited. I want to be excited about everything I have. And that doesn't always work. And I can say this, when I took these 5 House Labs blushes with me when I went on a 5-day trip, I randomly picked one every day. And I realized, and I did a video on what I learned, any of those palettes go with any look. And I chose one randomly today. This is Acai Sky, and it just goes. And so, yeah, and it's amazing when you know your vibe because you can look at something and it's like, that's me. And that's why I want that little red palette because I'm like, but I'm waiting. But these were, I downsized. These were, I kept the House Labs blushes. My Pat blushes, my Pat bronzers, they're in my Macari store because I like the House Labs formula better. And I have 2 House Labs bronzers and 1 House Labs highlighter. Grace has sent me a Sigma blush and a Sigma bronzer that I really like. But other than that, that's all the blushes and bronzers I have except this came free from MAC with something. This is Blush Baby. That's all my blushes, y'all. So I got 5, 6, 7 blushes. And I'm cool with that. And I don't miss not having other stuff. And I still have the Snake palette too. But I'm just like, I don't miss it. And so I just want to have stuff that I love and that I'm going to be excited to use. And the more stuff I have, the less I'm going to use more of what I love. And so if I like something, if I like this, but I love this, I'm going to keep this because I love it, because I want to use more of what I love and not just hang on to stuff that I like, especially when I like it, because I think somebody else can love it too. They can like it and use it, just like with the Forest Heart palette. Let somebody else use it while it's still living, and not me just have it, knowing that I can dupe the looks with other stuff. You know what I mean? I hope they do restock their blushes, Paulette. I don't know why they disappeared from the market. The formula is amazing, and I hope when they come back, because I'm hoping they do, that they don't change the formula. I'm just wondering why they all of a sudden disappeared. You have a drawer overflowing with blushes, Tanya, but that's okay for you because you are the blush queen. Like nobody ain't gonna tell you don't put on more and 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 more blush. And it always looks so good on you. If I did that, I'd be like Circle Loco for real. But it always looks really good on you. And so that's what got me with this one, and that's why I chose it. The same with Subliminal. The first look I used with the shades I thought wasn't gonna look right. That look was bomb. And that got me excited for the rest of the palette. And when I used the rest of the palette, I was like, what? I know y'all, I'm surprised too. I'm like, Iceland? Mm-hmm. Because it adds to what I have. Y'all already guessed one of the other. There's two left. Y'all already guessed one of them. And this is Subversive from Pat McGrath. This is Mothership number 3. This is the standout shade in this one. This one is really nice too because it's a blue and it's a purple. And I do think it's underrated because Gigabyte. Everybody, Gigabyte. So this is underrated because it's in here with Gigabyte. But I do love this equally. What palette was I using? And I was saying how it reminds me of Black Metal. And I couldn't remember what Mothership it was. It was Mothership number 3, Subliminal, this one. But there's this color. I'm trying to get that glare off. There's this black sparkly shade in another palette, and every time I use it, I'm like, this reminds me of Black Metal. But I couldn't remember the palette. I knew it was a Mothership though. But this gives me smoky. I don't care what I do with this palette. Hey Monique, you not late. You right on time. You are right on time. And you can catch the replay to see what you missed. So it's all good. I'm glad that you're here. And so this gives me smoky. No matter what I do, it's going to be smoky. Even when I use Gigabyte, the look is going to come out smoky. This shows up darker on me than it looks in the pan. This, of course, shows up darker because this is darker than that one. This is a beautiful shade. And then you have a black. I do not care that the first 3 Motherships has the same black in it because I will deepen up a shade. Y'all know that I will deepen up a look. But I really love this. This gives me the smoke that I want. This gives me the smoke. No matter what I do, it's going to give me the smoke. And everything in here is easy to work with. Not a lot of fallout, not a lot of mess. We're down to one more. One more. Can y'all guess what it is? Oh, wait. You have Subversive, Paulette? Love it. Had to wait months for it to restock. I hope you got it on sale. I get her Motherships either when they're 30% off or 40% off. Because people say, I would never pay $129, $28 for a Mothership. I said, you don't have to. 40% off, they're $77.40. 30% off, they're like $90. 40% off, $77.40. Not a lethal BYOP, Janessa, because I can't just pick one. Because I put them all together in a way that I would love them. So I can't, like, how do you pick your favorite kid if you got 10 kids? I can't. And every now and then I think to rank my BYOPs, and I'm like, fuck it, no, I can't do it. I'm not, because even picking 10, even though this is hypothetical, this gave me anxiety. And when I do pull out my matte BYOPs and my lethal BYOPs and I think to rank them, it just creates so much anxiety for me. I'm like, I can't, even though it's not a real situation, I can't do it. I just feel so anxious and I just can't. It's like, how do you pick your favorite kid? Because I built those that way. So it's not like a pre-made palette where I can be like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it feel like cheating if you do your single shadows because you pick them because, yeah, exactly. Yeah, $78, Paulette. So I tell people, you don't have to pay $128 for Mothership. 40% off sale. But then I don't know what people be thinking. So nobody guessed it. I think y'all might be surprised. It surprised me. keep in mind, I was thinking of what would add to the other stuff. This was the last palette that I pulled because I was really thinking, and I have them stacked in the order I talked about them. We have Mothman, number 1. We'll see, like. We have Mothman, number 1, number 2, 669. Then we have Bog Witch. I'm still trying to figure out Poltergeist, and what was the other one? Some kind of haunted. I'm still trying to figure. I'm trying to figure out in my mind like where they are, because I need to use them more. And then we have Xenon, and then Biba, Circle Loco. Then we have Subliminal, Iceland, and then Subversive. So I was thinking, I looked, and all my palettes are right here. I can see them all. So I'm like, what else would really just add to this? That I like the formula. I love the looks I did. And so that's how we got to this last one. I don't know, Janessa, if I talked about it in I think it was a multi-palette, multi-look video with my Notoriously Morbid. So we did a look with Bog Witch, Mothman, Some Kind of Haunted, and Poltergeist. And because some of the shades in Poltergeist, they show up the same on me, and it may be because I'm placing them near each other. So some of the shades do seem to be very similar. And the same with Some Kind of Haunted. Some Kind of Haunted is more straightforward because it's not the dual chromes, it's not the swirls or whatever. So I am enjoying that it's predictable in the way that the Poltergeist is not predictable. But at least 3 of those shades in Poltergeist show up grayish on me, like a grayish blue on me. And I don't like that. So I spent all that money for that palette, and 3 of the shades look almost the same on my complexion. So I'm feeling, some kind of way with that. And so what I realized is that I need to use them in different combinations and not like put them next to each other or near each other. And so I'm still, part of me is just like, fuck it. And just, but I paid too much to just dismiss them so quick. And so I do want to use both of them more. But I'm not excited about them. However, I'm excited to see what else I can do with them, if that makes sense. Where 669, I'm excited all day, every day. Mothman, I'm excited all day, every day. Xenon, I'm excited all day, every day. But with those two, I'm only excited to see what else I can do. I'm not excited about the color story, so to speak. So I hope that makes sense. And it costs too much to be ambivalent about. So I am going to keep working with them, and we're going to figure something out, because they cost too much for me just to be like, you know what I mean? And if I'm like, why would I want to sell it? And because I swirled all the Poltergeist shadows, nobody's going to even buy it just for the aesthetic, because everything is all mixed up already, So here's the last one, y'all. And I apologize. I said this was going to be our shortest live ever because we're almost at an hour. The last one, it is a mothership. Any guesses? Somebody said Midnight Sun. Melina, I know you're driving. It's not Midnight Sun. I thought about it, but then I thought about how it's grungy. And we got Bog Witch already over here. And that's grungy. And I can even get grunge out of Iceland because of the darker side of this palette. And I know you can't see that, but that you're driving. But these darker shades, this gives me grunge. So I was really just trying to be like, what can I add to these 10 palettes? And it was a mothership. And it is mothership number 10. Moonlit Seduction. This shade right here is flaky, because it's flake. You see this flake? That's from this. So this is like way over there. I have learned to work with it. I got to get the chunk on the brush and then smear it on my lid, or use a sponge tip applicator. And so I have learned to work with it. It's really pretty. So it's that burgundy-ish, and then it's that green. This, I really like every look I did with this palette. And it surprised me because this palette for me does not have a lot of versatility. It's like subtle versus I can't even speak. There's subtle differences between the looks. Grace and I did a collab. We were trying to dupe the vibes of the Inslee Rain Cold Moon palette. And she has sent me her look. And I think think she did a video of a look, and I had mentioned, oh, that looks, and she had said that the Cold Moon, let me slow down, excuse me, y'all. Cold Moon, it has similar vibes as Moonlit Seduction. And I'm like, you know what? I said, I think it does. And she said, oh, you should do a video and do a look. And I'm like, huh? And I'm like, okay. She has good ideas. And so I did it. And so I had her picture already. She sent me the picture. And I did a look. The thing, though, with Cold Moon is it has a purple in it. This is a plum. And so I did a look, and it was the same vibe, but not quite. And so I wanted to get more of, it had a bold silver. This isn't that bold, shooting for smacking. And this doesn't have a purple, this has a plum. So I did 2 looks in that video, and the looks were different. There were subtle differences. And some people were like, wow, that silver is really pretty. Da, da, da. So the looks let me slow down. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm so excited. The looks were similar to what you can do with the Inslee Rain Cold Moon palette. Even keeping in mind, I think that palette has, what, 21 shades in it? This is only 10. But the looks were, it was similar vibes. And I had always put, this is Platinum Dusk. I love this shade. It is so unassuming. It looks really basic. It doesn't look like anything much at all. But this, I had always used it topping it over this shade or topping it over that darker shade. Or even over a base. And so that second look I did, I said, let me just put it on the lid to see what it does by itself. This shade, y'all. Using it by itself did bring out more of the silver, but it wasn't as silver as the Cold Moon palette, but that look was so friggin' pretty. This palette, I only get maybe at this point, maybe like 6 different looks out of here. Whereas the other motherships, I can get like 8, 9 different looks. Even Sunless Seduction, I think I only got like maybe 3 or 4 different looks out of that palette. Actually, no, I'm lying to you. Sunless Seduction was more versatile than Moonlit Seduction, but I like the tones of Moonlit Seduction more. And as I said, Sunlit is gone. Somebody purchased it, even though it was all like chewed up, which surprised the heck out of me. But this palette it's easy to work with, minus this one. This thing flakes everywhere if you allow it. But it is controllable. I have learned to work with it. It's not a pain in the ass to work with like it was the first 2 times I tried to use it. But it's just something about these tones. I like all the looks I've done with this palette. I can honestly say that. And aside from this one, it's easy to work with. I can pick it up. I can do a look. If I don't want to deal with this, I don't have to. I'm still going to get a pretty look with this palette. This is a dual chrome, and so is this one. And this one, I don't think this is a dual chrome, but it's just shiny the way the light hits it. But this is a beautiful palette. So number 10, if I can only keep 10. And you know what, y'all, to be honest with you, when I did this, I thought, what if I did only just keep these 10 and get rid of everything else? And I'm like, no, forget that. I ain't getting rid of 10 else. But there are 2 palettes in the back of my mind. I'm like, I think I would really like not miss them. One was the one I used today, and I used it specifically because I was about to get rid of it, like for real. And I said, let me just use it again. I used it and I got this look, and I'm like, okay, it's a keeper. Even though this looks like Bog Witch, even though this looks like, something else, but it's a keeper. And the formula is good, but like some things I just don't feel drawn to. And then when I look at them, I'm like, why are you here? And then when I say, well, let me just try it before I just trash it, and then I try it, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, you're done. And then like this palette, I'm like, no, I'm still keeping it. So it's important for me to really enjoy and love what I have. So when I pick up a palette, I'm like, ooh. And when Grace is like, we should do a collab with this palette, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, she has good ideas too. And I love collabing because it brings me out of my comfort zone. And there's an excitement of if we are using the same palette, like, oh, what are they going to do with it? Or if we're using different palettes, oh, are our looks going to have the same kind of vibe? And so there's an excitement with doing collabs that I really enjoy. And also if it's a palette that I really love too, I'm like, oh, I get to use that again. Ooh. So we're going to go backwards. So number 10 is Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction. Number 9 is Mothership number 3, Subversive, because it's smoky. Number 8, this is an outlier. Like, none of y'all were like, no, Pat. Y'all were just like Pat, Lethal, Martine Cosmetics, Notoriously Morbid. None of y'all was like, no, man. It surprised me too, y'all. It did. Iceland Fire and Ice. Just look at this, y'all. And it still blows my mind how these 2 columns of blues, that look was bomb. So I was just like, what? Number 7 is Mothership number 1, Subliminal. And notice how even with the motherships, they're still like at the bottom. And what it is for me is the formula and how easy it is to use. And I really like the looks. But I don't get that excitement that I get with the top few. Number 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6 is Natasha Denona Circle Loco. This is just fun. It's fun and it's going to work, except these 2 don't really show up on me. So that they would be just good blending shades for me. Well, blend out shades because they really don't show up on my complexion. And number 6, Natasha Denona Biba palette. If you just want an easy, simple look that you can just wear any type of day. For those of you who match your makeup to your clothes, this will go with whatever you wear. You can't just pick up Circle Loco and be like, oh, I'll put that on. You look at your shirt and be like, no. But Biba is a solid palette. The color story, it's just going to work. You don't have to put much thought into it. You can get dressed in the dark and then go sit down and pull this out and do makeup, and you're going to look fine. And y'all fine anyway, because those trolls are friggin' adorable. Number 4, Natasha Denona Xenon, even before I mixed it up. It just excites me because it motivates me to do something new and to do something different. It's not like the same thing every single time. Number 3, Bog Witch. Swamp Witch to you, Janessa. I'm excited to use each one of these center shades on my lid on their own, because I've only used, because y'all know I'll be putting like 5 shades on the lid. But the way these showed up, even just that little space, I'm like, I need to put each one of these individually like on my lid, because these shades are fire. They're just, I'm excited about this, and I'm excited to use it. And every time I think about Bog Witch, I'm like, I want that new one too. But I have to really, as I was saying earlier, is it really the color story, or is it, number 1, the color story because it's pretty, and number 2, because of how well Bog Witch functions. And there is versatility in here, even though it's going to be a swampy look and it's going to be a green look. You know, I can get a lot of green looks out of this palette, but they are going to be dark if I want them to be dark, because that bottom row is super rich, and I love rich, deep shades. Number 2, Martine Cosmetics 669. I'm going to keep playing around and see what looks I can dupe for the looks that I've done with this. I just don't want to be without it. And the PAO is 24 months. I think I have almost another year with this before technically it should be buried. But of course, you know, we can keep stuff longer. And I will keep this until the day I put it on and my eyelids burn. I'm going to keep this one until my eyelids burn. And so it gives me time, though, to, even like I said, the look I have on now, like I can do that. You know, that can be a dupe for a 669 look. And so I'm already thinking like almost a year ahead, like what am I going to do when 669 dies? Number 1, Beans Booty. Mothman Booty Crack Palette. It's been great. I got to get ready for them. Okay, Denise, I know this has been long. I'm thinking it was going to be short. Thank you for hanging out. So Mothman is number 1. And so these are the 10 palettes I would keep and why. Some of you guessed, actually y'all guessed like the first 4 or 5. And after that, it's like, I don't know. But thank you so much, y'all. I hope this was as fun for you as it was for me. I thank you for being here. Let me know in the comments, like even after the live is over, like what would your top 10 be? And I know I'm predictable because y'all guessed like the first 5. But which one were you surprised by, aside from the Nomad one? Because that surprised even me. But if you could only keep 10 palettes, you can leave in the comments after the live. What would your 10 be and why? Like, do they excite you? Is it just the color story? Is it the formula? Is it that it's easy to use? Does it motivate you to do something different? And those are the things I think about when I think about my palettes. Is it just like, oh, let me just grab this again? It's like, ooh, you know what I mean? Thank you, Arlene, and thank you, Janessa. I've already filmed this and think it's my next video. You should. Oh, wait, the comments went away. And I'm glad that because I started to do this as a video, and in the video I was down to like I had only did like the first two, and I said, you know what, this should be a live, and I'm glad I did it as a live because lives are a lot of fun. You filmed it? Oh, it's coming maybe next week. Oh, this is a good tag. Like if you can keep only 10. And the thing for me also was not overthinking. Like what would add to the other 9, and what would give me variety? What will give me all of my different vibes that I like? And so that helped a lot because I do really like all of my stuff. There's one I do want to get rid of, and Poltergeist and some kind of homes that I'm on the fence about. But yeah, so that is going to be it, y'all. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much. Thanks for playing along and guessing and giving me your thoughts and everything else. I do appreciate it. You gave me over an hour out of your day. I don't take it lightly. You could have been anywhere doing anything and you're here. If you're watching the replay and you've made it this far and you enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe. Browse through my playlist. As always, there's a lot of links down below. And there is a playlist, as I said, for each one of these palettes if you want to see the looks that I've done. And it's not even really about the palettes. If you see a look you like, try and recreate it with shadows you already have. It doesn't have to be that particular palette, unless you're getting into like the dual chrome, multi-chrome stuff. And then there's so many of those out these days. You can just pick one somewhere. And so, but that will be it. Thank you all for being here. As always, self-acceptance, self-love, that is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me soon. And now, the video's over. I'm going to do a screenshot. I'm going to do a thing for a screenshot. So, yeah, I do this stuff in the video like a non-normal person. Let me get all the glares off. Here we go. All right, so thank you. We are really going. You will see me tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, regular time for regular video. Next Monday is another live, and it's going to be a haul. It's going to be long. It's a lot of stuff. So we're going. Thank you so much, and you'll see me soon. I always forget where the button is because they switch stuff. Okay. All right, I'm going. I'm just trying to find how to... Oh, it's the X over here. They moved it. Good night.